The Mahabharata is one of the major epics of ancient India. It is an extensive narrative that spans over 1 lakh verses, making it one of the longest epics in world literature. It is a complex and multifaceted story that blends history, mythology, philosophy, and religious teachings. The story revolves around the struggle for the throne of Hastinapura between two families, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas, 5 brothers, are the sons of King Pandu, while the Kauravas, 100 brothers, are the sons of Pandu's brother, Dhritarashtra. The rivalry between these two families leads to a great war of Kurukshetra, a devastating conflict that is the central event of this epic. Did you know the Mahabharata has 18 parvas? The first one is the Adi Parva, Sabha Parva, Vana Parva, Vigata Parva, Udyoga Parva, Bhishma Parva, Drona Parva, Karna Parva, Shalya Parva, Sautika Parva, Stri Parva, Shanti Parva, Anushasana Parva, Ashwalira Parva, Ashwattama Parva, Mosala Parva, Mahaprasthanika Parva, and finally, the Swangaropana Parva. The story begins with Rishi Vyasa, the celebrated compiler of the Vedas, son of the great Rishi Parashara. He was the one who gave the divine epic of the Mahabharata to the world. Having conceived the Mahabharata, he thought of the means and meditated on Brahma, the creator. Brahma was pleased with Vyasa's prayers and appeared before him and suggested that he invoke Lord Ganesha and plead him to pen the epic of Mahabharata and disappeared. As per Brahmana's suggestion, Vyasa meditated on Ganesha and sought his help. Though Ganesha agreed to write down the epic, but he had one condition: my pen must not stop while I am writing, so you must dictate without a pause or hesitation. Vyasa agreed, guarding himself, however, with a response: be it so, but you must first grasp the meaning of what I dictate before you write it down. Ganesha smiled and agreed, and Vyasa would occasionally compose some complex stanzas, which would make Ganesha pause a while to get the meaning, and Vyasa would avail himself of this interval to compose many stanzas in his mind. Thus, the Mahabharata came to be written by Lord Ganesha through Vyasa dictation. Vyasa first taught the great epic to his son, Rishi Suka. Later, he illustrated it to many of his other disciples. Tradition has it that Narada told the story of the Mahabharata to the Devas, while the Suka taught it to the Gandharvas, the Rakshasas, and the Yakshas. Ugrasarva Sauti, or Suta, hears the story narrated by Vaisampayana at the sacrifice conducted by King Janame Jaya and travels across various sacred places and finally reaches the forest of Naimisha, or Naimisharanya. He then starts to narrate the story to an assembly of rishis under the lead of the Rishi Saunaka. The story dates back to generations and begins with King of Hastinapura, Pratipa, who was meditating on the banks of river Ganga and chanting prayers to Lord Surya. The goddess Ganga appeared before Pratipa after being cursed by Brahma at Satyaloka and sat on his right lap, due to which his meditation broke. She requested Pratipa to marry her, but since she sat on the right lap, Pratipa mentions that she is now equivalent to his daughter or daughter-in-law and must wait until he has a son. After a few years, Pratipa and his wife Sunanda will be blessed with 3 sons named Devaprayag, Shantanu, and Balika. One day, Shantanu saw Ganga in a human form. Intoxicated by her beauty and superhuman loveliness, he proposed her to marry him. The king offered her love, his kingdom, his wealth, everything along with, and his very own life. Though Ganga accepted the proposal, she replied, I shall become your wife, but on certain conditions, that neither you nor anyone else should ever ask me who I am, nor stand in the way of whatever I do, good or bad. The infatuated king vowed his assent, and she became his wife and lived with him. The heart of the king was captivated by her modesty and grace and the steady love she gave him. She gave birth to many children, but cast all of them into river Ganges. Shantanu was filled with horror and anguish, but suffered in silence because of the promise he made. He often wondered about her whereabouts, but uttered no word. She thus killed 7 children, and when the 8th child was born and was about to throw it into the Ganges, Shantanu could not bear it any longer. He cried and stopped her by questioning her act. Ganga reminded Santanu that he has broken his promise and revealed her identity and explained that she was constrained to play this hateful role by the curse of 8 Vasus by Vasishta. So, who are these 8 Vasus and how are they connected to this story? And what was the curse after all that led to the killing of young infants? The 8 Vasus are the demigods Anala, Anila, Soma, Ahas, Dhara, Dhruva, Pratyusha, and Prabhasa. Together, they represent the very elements of the Mother Nature. Though their names are different in various texts, they represent the very elements of the sky, the earth, the wind, the fire, the stars, the water, the sun, and the moon. Once, the wife of Prabhasa persuaded her husband to get her a cow, which actually belonged to Rishi Vashishta. Though reluctant, he agreed to steal the cow for her with the help of his 7 brothers. Rishi Vashishta, through his powers, figured out that the stealth was an act of the Vasus. He cursed the 8 Vasus to be born on earth as mortals and suffer the pain like all mortals do. The 8 Vasus begged the Rishi for mercy, but a curse cannot be taken back but only modified. Rishi Vashishta granted some relief to 7 Vasus that their lifetime on earth would be short and after that they could ascend to paradise. But the 8 Vasu, Prabhasa, who instigated the other 7 to steal the cow out of his passion for his wife, would suffer the pain of the account of all the 7 Vasus. The 8 Vasu is none other than Bhishma, who was raised by Ganga and returned to Santanu once he became a teenager. Do you know where did Rishi Vyasa and Ganesha compose the Mahabharata? It was on the banks of river Alakananda. It's a popular pilgrimage and tourist spot, and people often visit to see the Devaprayag center, the place where Alakananda meets river Bhagirathi and takes the name Danda. It's a favorite spot for river rafting and is also considered the most thrilling rafting spot in India. The rafting usually starts from the town of Rishikesh and is about 70 kilometers long and is considered quite challenging as it takes about 4 to 5 days to complete the entire journey. We also talk about the 8 Vasu and their curse from Rishi Vyasa. Legend has it that the Vasus visited the temple of Thiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu to pray for moksha. The temple dates back to thousands of years and is referenced in various Vedas and scriptures. The temple is also famous for its numerous unsolved mysteries. We also talked about Naimisharanya, where Sutta narrates the story of Mahabharata to a group of rishis. Do you know where it is in today's world? It is near a town called Sitapur in Uttar Pradesh. There's also a temple dedicated to Lord Vishnu and is also referenced in the Ramayana as well. Let me ask you a question. I mentioned that goddess Ganga appeared before Pratipa after being cursed by Brahma at Satyaloka. Ganga, being a goddess, why did she wanted to marry a mortal or a human like Pratipa? Leave a comment if you know the answer or wait for the next episode to learn more. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If yes, please like, share, and subscribe.